Captain Elijah Grant stood on the bridge of the SS Raptor, arms crossed and brow furrowed as he stared at the distant specks on the scanner. His crew had spent years navigating the uncharted territories of deep space, but this was the first time they encountered a vessel of unknown origin. "Captain, the unidentified ship is hailing us," Barnes, the communications officer, announced, his fingers dancing over the console in a flurry of activity. "Put them on screen," Elijah replied, curiosity bubbling beneath his stoic demeanor. He straightened his uniform, the creases sharp and crisp, hinting at his readiness for any situation. As the image materialized, Elijah was taken aback. The vessel was unlike anything he'd ever seen, a living tapestry of waves and colors that seemed to shimmer against the black backdrop of space. "It's beautiful," he murmured under his breath, captivated. "Remarkable," echoed Dr. Miriam Ellis, the ship's xenobiologist, leaning closer to the screen. "It could be an organic ship. Just look at those curves. Can we establish communication?" Elijah asked, torn between excitement and caution. "Attempting to make contact now," Barnes answered, his fingers working quickly on the console. While they awaited a response, Elijah's mind raced with possibilities. This could lead to incredible discoveries or pitfalls. "Prepare for boarding. We need to know more." After a brief moment filled with uncertainty, the screen flickered again, and a vivid display of colors unraveled before them. An alien figure materialized, radiating warmth and light. "This is Seraphine of the Tulri," she spoke, her voice melodic and fluid. "Why do you approach our vessel, strangers of the stars?" Elijah felt a jolt of electricity surge through him at her presence. "I am Captain Elijah Grant of the SS Raptor. We mean no harm. We are explorers." Seraphine tilted her head, her scales shimmering in a cascade of colors that shifted from emerald to violet. "Explorers? You seek knowledge, not conquest." "Exactly. We seek understanding," Elijah replied earnestly. "We want to learn about you and your people." "I will allow you aboard, then," she said, a hint of curiosity dancing through her hues. "But you must leave your weapons behind." "All weapons?" Elijah raised an eyebrow, but he nodded in acquiescence. "Very well. We will comply." Within minutes, they had donned their suits and cautiously stepped aboard the Tulri vessel. Instantly, Elijah was enveloped in a world that felt alive, the walls pulsed with life, resonating like a heartbeat. "Hold on to your seats, this ship moves differently." "Like it's swimming," Dr. Ellis remarked, her eyes shining with wonder. "Like it's a living thing," Elijah added, stepping forward, the curiosity of a child budding in his chest. As they ventured deeper, Elijah caught a glimpse of Seraphine, who was leading them down a corridor of soft, glowing colors. The air hummed, flowing with energy. "Welcome to my world," she said, her voice enchanting. "Your world?" Elijah echoed, glancing around. "It feels different from ours. Our existence is woven through the emotions of one another," she explained. "We communicate through colors. I can feel your presence, your thoughts even as you can feel mine." Miriam raised her eyebrows, fascinated. "So, your emotions are the foundation of your culture? No written language, no art?" "Art?" Seraphine mused, her scales shimmering with a flicker of confusion. "We do not create in that way. Our expressions are felt, not seen." Elijah's curiosity piqued even more. "What about beauty? How do you celebrate it?" "The beauty of our beings is enough," she replied, her tones shifting to a deep, rich blue. "At least that is what we believe. But there must be more to it," he pressed, his interest now entirely consumed. "Art can transform feelings into something tangible. It connects us." "Your passion for it is intense," she stated, her colors glowing warmly. "Why do you pursue this understanding?" "Because I think we all need something to express ourselves," Elijah said, determination underlying his words. "Imagine if you could create something visualization of your thoughts." Seraphine paused, glancing around as if searching for the right words. "I have never thought of it that way. Only instants that are lived." Miriam chimed in. "So, what if we could teach one another? I'd love to show you a bit of our world, the art we create." Finally, they reached an expansive chamber filled with bioluminescent flora, illuminating the space in an array of colors. "You have brought us here, but what do you wish to share?" Seraphine asked softly, her eyes shimmering with intrigue. "This room is beautiful," Elijah said, captivated by the vibrant glow. "But imagine creating something beautiful together. A canvas infused with your colors and our methods." "For what purpose?" Seraphine questioned, tilting her head in confusion. "To share experiences, to express emotions in ways you haven't before. It could revolutionize your culture," Elijah explained passionately. "Art can convey what words sometimes cannot. Think of it as a new language." Her colors shifted once more, a mix of curiosity and uncertainty pulsing through her. "You believe we can transcend our methods?" "I know we can," he asserted. You and I can create something remarkable, storytelling through art. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, Elijah felt the intensity of their connection grow. He sensed a mixture of anticipation and hesitation radiating from her. And what if I fail? Seraphine finally asked, vulnerability spilling through her vibrant skin. Failing is part of the process. What matters is that we try together, he reassured her, his voice steady. Seraphine's hues brightened, casting the room in a radiant light. Very well, Captain. If you believe this is possible, then let us explore this art you speak of. A sense of victory surged through Elijah, but it was laced with a wave of responsibility. Together, we'll embark on something incredible. As they exchanged tentative smiles, clarity formed in the air. In that moment, a new journey began, not just among the stars but within two vastly different worlds, each seeking to understand the other. Underneath the vibrant blossoms of Tulri flora, Elijah and Seraphine set out to paint a bridge between their civilizations, each stroke a testament to the deep connection they were about to forge. Chapter 2: The Language of Emotion. The following days on the Tulri homeworld were a whirlwind of discovery and emotion. Elijah found himself captivated not only by the vibrant beauty surrounding him but also by the depth of his connection with Seraphine. Together, they began to explore the art of creating, shedding layers of doubt and stepping into a world of vivid possibilities. On a clear afternoon, they gathered in the bioluminescent chamber, a kaleidoscope of colors pulsing with life. The air filled with an electric anticipation as icons of both worlds, the humans' structured art supplies and the Tulri's organic materials were arranged on a large, smooth canvas formed from shimmering tree bark. Elijah set down a collection of paints he engineered from the vivid pigments of their surroundings. These are made from your flora, he explained, pointing to the palette of colors. Each one reflects the emotions we'll convey. Seraphine leaned closer, mesmerized. You made these from our world? Every color speaks a different feeling, Elijah continued. This deep green, for example, represents hope. And this vibrant orange embodies passion. Together, they can tell a story. Intrigued, Seraphine experimented with various hues. As her fingers brushed against the pigments, they shimmering like stars, her excitement reflected in the vibrant colors swirling around her. What do we do first? Elijah stepped back, a smile spreading across his face. Let's start by envisioning a scene that represents both of us. Something that tells a story of our encounter. Seraphine's eyes sparkled as she thought it over. Perhaps we could paint the moment we first met? When you boarded my ship. Good choice, Elijah said, picking up a brush and gesturing for Seraphine to do the same. We'll need the vastness of space, the warmth of your ship, and the colors that showed our first emotions. Seraphine nodded, her excitement nearly palpable. And the colors of your face, the way your eyes widened with wonder. Right? Let's capture that. Elijah's energy radiated and he began painting a dark canvas, the backdrop of space that would cradle their memory. As he fell into the flow of creativity, the room filled with laughter and color. Look at this, he said, splattering a hint of silver for the stars lining the background. Seraphine giggled, watching him. You throw paint like a child. Elijah smirked. And look how much fun it is. It's about expressing ourselves. Teach me, she said, her voice a blend of eagerness and determination. All right. Here, he said, guiding her hand gently. Take the brush and allow your feelings to guide you. Trust what you want to say without overthinking it. She took a deep breath, nodding seriously. I feel a pulsing warmth when I think of you, she confessed, her colors deepening. Does that make sense? Absolutely. Elijah said, enthusiastic. Let's convey that together. They took turns painting, a dance of movements blending human techniques with Tulri intuition. As Seraphine's brilliant colors splashed onto the canvas, she laughed joyfully. Moments melted into hours as they shared stories while brushing the canvas. Do you ever get tired? She asked, paint splattered across her cheek. This feels like so much fun. Not when it's with you, he replied, stealing a brush from her hand to add a touch of blue outlines to the foreground. What about you? What is it like to feel colors? It's a part of me, she explained, her curiosities painting her tone. The hues shift with my emotions like a melody flowing, different colors at different tones. I don't have to create them, I feel them. But now she looked at their merging creation, it's something we share. Elijah paused to take in the evolving artwork. Exactly. Together, we blend our worlds and what we feel becomes real. Seraphine's vibrant colors flashed as she moved closer. What if we change the scene a bit? Add an element that represents both of our species merging. Great idea. Elijah replied, his excitement infectious. What should it be? Maybe a tree, she suggested. 2 trees, one from your world and one from mine. Their roots intertwined. Perfect. Elijah answered with an approving nod, feeling the rush of creativity bloom. Let's sketch them in. They took turns layering details onto the canvas, a sturdy oak native to Earth alongside a slender, luminous bulbous tree of the tulri. As they added delicate touches, Elijah felt a surge of warmth from Seraphine's colors, empathy carved through her vivid emotions. This is incredible, he remarked, stepping back to admire their work. I never imagined we'd create something so special together. Neither did I, she replied, her voice softening. It sprouted from the bond we've built. Elijah turned to her, catching the flicker of her colors softened by intimacy. I can't help but feel that we're making something extraordinary. That feels right. Seraphine's gaze lingered on him, a hint of uncertainty flickering in her colors. But what if they don't understand what we've made? What if they scorn our art? Then we'll show them how it resonates, Elijah replied, a fire sparking in his chest. Art is the language of emotion and connection, it goes beyond words. She nodded slowly, embracing his conviction. I want to believe that. Let's keep pouring ourselves into this canvas, every brush stroke matters. As they painted, their laughter filled the chamber, creating an atmosphere that transcended mere words. With each stroke, the mural blossomed, revealing a vision of unity through colors and stories. Eventually, they stepped away from the canvas, breathless with exhilaration. Elijah gazed at the artwork, an ethereal representation of their journey, imbued with the essence of who they had become together. This is our story, he said, mesmerized. And it's only the beginning. Will they understand? Seraphine's hues flickered with concern. Elijah took her hand, reassuring her with a gentle squeeze. Together, we can show them. We'll share the meaning behind every color we've created. As the light from the bioluminescent flora danced around them, Elijah felt a swell of hope. He couldn't help but wonder about the reaction of their respective civilizations. But in this moment he was simply grateful for Seraphine, the art they had created, and the bond forming between them. Let's not stop here. There's so much more we can explore, he said, his enthusiasm bubbling over. Seraphine smiled, colors swirling in a gentle mix of joy and determination. Then let's continue. Their hands intertwined above the canvas, a shared promise sustaining the moment. As they prepared to delve deeper into this uncharted territory of art and emotions, they realized that this journey was a testament not only to their unique cultures but also to the power of connection that could transcend any boundary. Chapter 3: Colors of Connection. Sunlight filtered through the bioluminescent foliage in the chamber, casting ethereal patterns on the canvas that bore witness to Elijah and Seraphine's collaborative creation. They had spent countless hours pouring their feelings and experiences into their artwork, transforming the blank surface into a vibrant tapestry of colors that reflected their journey. Elijah stepped back, admiring their work. It's incredible to see how far we've come in such a short time. Seraphine tilted her head, a mix of pride and wonder flickering through her scales. The merging of our worlds feels alive. What do we do next? Next, we should find a way to share this with others, Elijah suggested, energy coursing through him. This should be seen by everyone. It would bring warmth to my people, Seraphine agreed enthusiastically. But how can we show them? Elijah paused, deep in thought. We can create an exhibition, a gathering where we invite both Tulri and humans to witness our art. An exhibition? She echoed, a hint of excitement glimmering in her hues. You think they would understand? I believe they will, Elijah said confidently. We'll explain our process, our emotions. It'll be an opportunity for all of us to connect. Seraphine's vibrant colors pulsed with determination. Let's begin planning then. Over the next few days, they worked diligently to prepare, balancing moments of painting with discussions about how to present their creation to both species. Elijah gathered the crew from the SS Raptor, explaining their vision, his enthusiasm infectious. Everyone, gather around, Elijah called out as he stood before the crew. I have some exciting news. Seraphine and I have created an artwork that represents the merging of our worlds. We want to showcase it for both humans and Tulri. Barnes, their communications officer, raised an eyebrow. Really? Are you sure they'll be interested? Absolutely, Seraphine chimed in, stepping slightly forward. This art speaks to emotions, connections. We want to share the narrative of how we came to be. Dr. Ellis crossed her arms, eyeing the vibrant colors of the painting from a distance. What's the plan? We can't just invite everyone to glance at it and expect them to understand. We'll guide them through the piece, Elijah explained. We'll narrate the story behind each hue, each stroke. It's important they feel what we felt. Miriam nodded slowly, the gears clearly turning in her head. I can help with that. I'll prepare explanations about the significance of the colors based on your emotions. Seraphine's colors brightened with joy. If we can communicate well, they'll feel the connection, and it could change how we see each other. Elijah smiled at her enthusiasm. Exactly, and we'll need a space. A venue for the exhibition. Why not in the main dome where your ship is docked? Suggested Barnes. It's big enough to accommodate everyone. Brilliant! Elijah exclaimed. Let's do it. We can set up the artwork there with areas for people to reflect. As preparations unfolded, Elijah and Seraphine dedicated time to put the finishing touches on their mural. They worked in harmony, intertwined in the creative process, each stroke echoing their emotional connection. One afternoon, they found themselves in an inspired rhythm, the brush gliding effortlessly across the surface. Seraphine paused, her colors shifting slightly. Elijah, I have a thought. What's on your mind? He asked, looking up from his work. What if we write something beneath the painting? A simple phrase that encapsulates our journey. Great idea, Elijah replied, excitement bubbling in his chest. What do you want it to convey? Her colors fluttered like leaves in the wind. Perhaps, together we create. It shows our journey and our bond. I love it, Elijah agreed, grabbing a brush for the lettering. He painted the phrase beneath their artwork, the letters flowing like a river of emotion. Once finished, they stepped back to admire it. The artwork, a burst of colors symbolizing their connection alongside the lettering that conveyed their message. This is more than just art, Seraphine said softly, her colors subtly dancing. It's a culmination of everything we've experienced. Yes, and I can't wait to share it, Elijah replied, a thrill running through him. I can feel the excitement building. The day of the exhibition arrived and both the SS Raptor crew and the Tulri gathered in the main dome. Elijah felt the electricity in the air, a thrumming anticipation of what was to come. As the crowd settled, Elijah took a deep breath and approached the center. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is a unique opportunity to share something special. Seraphine moved beside him, her presence radiating warmth. This artwork represents the union of our worlds, our struggles, and our hopes. Elijah gestured toward the mural. Each stroke, each hue tells a story. Colors reflect emotions, green for hope, orange for passion, every shade carrying meaning. He looked out at the crowd, human and Tulri alike, their expressions a mix of intrigue and skepticism. We invite you to feel the connection we've poured into this piece. As Elijah described the significance behind each detail, Seraphine's colors ebbed and flowed, mirroring the audience's responses. She stepped forward, her voice lilting. When I saw Elijah's excitement, I felt a connection I never knew possible. This art symbolizes our understanding. One of the Tulri stepped forward, unsure yet captivated. How can colors convey such feelings? Is it truly possible to understand each other through art? Elijah smiled, proud of Seraphine's courage. Absolutely. Just as you feel the pulse of the universe, we too can feel the world of the other through their colors. That connection is what will unite us. Another member of the SS Raptor crew raised a hand. But how do we embrace emotions that are so different from our own? Seraphine met his gaze. By being open. By allowing ourselves to experience new perspectives. Art invites us to embrace. Space filled with blank canvases and art supplies. Engage with your feelings and explore creativity. As the audience dispersed, many gravitated toward the canvases, their expressions shifting from uncertainty to eagerness. Seraphine leaned in closer to Elijah, her colors glowing softly. Do you think they understand? I believe they are starting to, he said, watching the crowd with pride. This is only the beginning of what we can achieve together. As they observed, colors danced around them. Shared laughter, bursts of creativity, and newfound friendships blooming under the expanse of their combined art. In that moment, with the canvas swelling with life, Elijah and Seraphine knew they were embarking on a journey unlike any other. Together, they would redefine connection, stretching beyond the limits of their cultures, color by color. Chapter 4: War of Hearts. The excitement of the previous day hung in the air like an echo as Elijah and Seraphine reviewed their exhibition, now effortlessly transitioning into a shared routine, exploring the vibrant intricacies of their connection. There was a beautiful rhythm formed between them, layered with creativity and understanding. They spent hours painting, laughing, and sharing stories of their pasts, deepening their bond. One afternoon, while they wiped paint from their hands, Seraphine turned her head to Elijah, her colors a soft wash of lavender. Elijah, the exhibition seemed to touch many hearts. I'm starting to see how much art can build connection. Yes, and I didn't just mean colors, but every stroke carries our emotions, he replied, sliding a brush through his paint tray. Art sparks curiosity, inspires dialogue, and opens pathways to deeper understanding. Seraphine nodded, but her colors darkened slightly. But what if our connection leads to conflict? I overheard some Tulri discussing their concerns about humans. They fear your people might see us as weak or subservient. Elijah frowned, concerned. I can't pretend that fear doesn't exist, but I think we can help change that perception. We've managed to create bonds, and art is just beginning. But what if they don't want to listen? Her tone was weighted, colors shifting to a deep and anxious blue. We have to give them a reason, he replied, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Let's create another piece together. A visual narrative showcasing the strengths of both species working in harmony, showing how we uplift one another. Seraphine's scales sparkled with intrigue. What would that look like? Picture this, Elijah excitedly said, sketching in the air. A landscape where Tulri and humans collaborate. We'll show both civilizations building something together, side by side. We'll depict strength through unity. I love it, she said, her colors brightening. But will they understand? Will it resonate with both worlds? They will, especially if we infuse our feelings into it. The more real we make it, the more they'll see our connection. Seraphine nodded, determination flooding back into her vibrant hues. Then let's start painting. They gathered their supplies, but as they began to work, an unsettling energy permeated the room. Eventually, Elijah noticed it. What's wrong? I can sense something uncomfortable in the air, she replied, hesitating as she dipped her brush. As though there's an unseen tension building. Let's take a break, Elijah suggested, wiping his hands on a cloth. Maybe a walk will clear our heads. They left the art chamber, strolling among the flora adorned with bioluminescent patterns. The decor of Seraphine's home world was beautiful, but Elijah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. He turned to Seraphine. Do you think that conversation you overheard could be causing this tension? She sighed, her colors wavering. They're concerned about an alliance with humans. Some believe we should remain independent, free from human influence. Why would they think that? Elijah inquired, genuinely curious. Seraphine hesitated, the vibrancy of her colors dimming. They fear losing our cultural identity, our beliefs. If we become too intertwined with humans, will we lose who we are? Elijah absorbed her words, concern washing over him. But haven't we gained something beautiful? We're building something together. Art transcends the boundaries of our worlds. Seraphine's colors pulsed softly. But it's not enough for everyone. Some still see humans as conquerors. At that moment, a group of Tulri passed by, glancing at the two of them. Elijah felt the weight of their stares, their skepticism piercing through the air. Let's not let them ruin what we've made, he said quietly, frustration bubbling. I cannot change their minds, Elijah, she responded, looking down as her colors darkened once more. I can only share my emotions. Then let's channel that into our next piece, Elijah said, steeling himself to confront the challenges ahead. We can't let fear derail us. Our journey together is too important. They returned to the art chamber, their emotions raw yet renewed with purpose. As they set to work, Elijah could sense a quiet determination building between them, a fusion of their hopes and aspirations. This piece will highlight the beauty of both our worlds, he stated as he layered strokes of vibrant color onto the canvas. We'll paint a bright sky, signifying the future we wish to build. Seraphine's colors brightened as she responded. And beneath it, a landscape where humans and Tulri work side by side, a display of our unity. Exactly, Let's create this vision together, Elijah said, excitement revitalizing him as they poured themselves into their art. As they painted, Seraphine's colors reflected her rising confidence. What if we add elements that are symbolic, like the roots intertwining beneath the earth, digging deeper for stability? Elijah grinned, envisioning the imagery. Brilliant, and we could have delicate flowers sprouting from the ground, intertwining both human and Tulri flora. Exactly. Flowers that represent growth and collaboration. Seraphine agreed, her colors vibrant. Their brushes moved in unison, bringing their ideas to life, the mural blossoming with details that spoke of hope and shared dreams. They laughed together, filling the air with energy and enthusiasm, moments of doubt momentarily fading. Later, after hours of painting, they stepped back to admire their progress. The mural radiated warmth and vibrancy, the intertwining elements representing their unyielding bond, their dreams tinted in color. I can feel the strength of our message, Elijah said, a smile creasing his face. This piece embodies our journey. It shows that together we are stronger. I think so too, Seraphine said, her heart swelling with pride. In that blissful moment, their fingers brushed, a silent connection igniting between them. We're building something meaningful, Elijah said softly, his gaze locking with hers. Seraphine's colors shimmered as she leaned closer, feeling emotions swell within her. You've opened my heart to possibilities I never imagined. Elijah looked deeply into her eyes, warmth radiating. And you've filled my soul with inspiration. Nervously, Seraphine tilted her head and brushed her cheek against his, the contact sending shivers through both of them. I wish for this feeling to never end, she confessed. The soft intimacy of the moment enveloped them, filling the air with unspoken promises. Elijah leaned closer now, kissing her gently, warmth spreading as colors ignited around them. It was a moment steeped in understanding, connection, and the promise of exploring their worlds together. However, the spell of their connection was suddenly interrupted by a loud commotion outside. They pulled apart, surprise etched on their faces. What's happening? Seraphine asked, concern creeping into her voice. Stepping outside, they were met by a gathering of Tulri, their voices rising as they discussed something urgently. Look, Elijah said, dread creeping into his voice. They're talking about us. A leader among the crowd pointed in their direction, his scales reflecting indignation. We cannot allow this union to continue. We risk losing ourselves. Seraphine's heart sank as she watched the tension rise. This is exactly what I feared, she whispered, her colors dimming. Stay close, Elijah said, a protective instinct surfacing as the crowd thrashed in turmoil. Together, we will face them, he declared, his voice steady as uncertainty loomed. With their hearts racing, the two stood in solidarity, ready to confront the fears that threatened to tear them apart. As Seraphine's colors flickered nervously and Elijah took a deep breath, they prepared to navigate the complexities of acceptance and identity, a challenge that might just define their bond. Chapter 5: The Revelation of Art. Elijah and Seraphine stood side by side, the commotion of the crowd roaring like an approaching storm. The air was thick with tension, and for a brief moment they exchanged a glance filled with uncertainty. Both of them sensed the storm brewing within the gathered Tulri. The leader of the dissenting group, a tall figure named Lyran, stepped forward. His vibrant scales shimmered in shades of deep red, reflecting annoyance. You cannot form this bond, he declared, his voice ringing like a bell. These humans do not understand us. Elijah felt Seraphine tense beside him. We do understand, he called out, trying to keep his voice steady against the hostility. We've shared our stories, we've created art that speaks to both of our cultures. I have seen this art you speak of, Lyran replied, his disapproval palpable. It speaks of union, but at what cost? We risk our essence, our identity. Seraphine stepped forward, her colors flickering nervously. We can retain our identity while embracing new connections. Art allows us to grow without losing who we are. Growth? Lyran scoffed, crossing his arms. What about our traditions? What happens to our way of life if we intertwine with humans? We are not tools for them to exploit. That's not what we're doing. Elijah interjected, stepping closer. We're creating something meaningful together. We're showing that our differences can spark strength. A murmur of agreement rippled through a section of the crowd, but the dissent remained. And how can we trust you? A voice shouted from the back. Humans have a history of conquest. Elijah felt turbulence rise in his chest. You can start by trusting our actions, not our history. Look at the art we've created. It tells a story of unity and respect. At that moment, Seraphine's colors shifted from nervous to a deep, nurturing green. Art has always been a bridge between cultures and emotions. We need each other to flourish. Accepting this doesn't erase our identity, it strengthens it. But how can you be so sure? Another Tulri called out, uncertainty in their voice. Because I am here. Seraphine exclaimed, her voice stronger now, echoing through the crowd. I chose to learn and grow with Elijah. I have seen potential that comes when we listen. His people aren't perfect, but neither are we. Elijah glanced at her, pride swelling in his chest. Exactly. We can create something that respects and honors both of our cultures. It's a chance to share our strengths instead of focusing on fears. Lyron remained unmoved, shaking his head. Talk of unity is empty without proof. What has this bond brought us besides more uncertainty? Allow us to show you, Elijah proposed, an idea springing to life. What if we hold another exhibition that focuses on art as a pathway to understanding? This time, we can invite not just our friends but all who wish to witness. Murmurs rippled among the crowd. An art festival? One Tulri questioned, intrigued. Yes, showcasing not only our mural but also creations from Tulri artists. We will express our stories side by side, Elijah said, his voice growing stronger. This is not just about humans and Tulri. It's about a new community formed through trust and collaboration. Seraphine stepped forward, her hues brightening once more. Together, we can inspire one another. This festival could encompass our shared victories. An invitation to bridge our worlds through creativity. Lyron's skepticism still lingered, but, for the first time, curiosity flickered in his eyes. This could be an opportunity, but it must be genuine. Can your people truly commit to understanding ours? Elijah nodded earnestly. It starts with this festival, but it will extend far beyond it. We'll work hand in hand, refining our perspectives until we learn to embrace our cultures. What if this doesn't work? Another voice asked, fraught with doubt. Then we learn from it, Elijah replied without hesitation. Growth doesn't come without risk, but we can't let fear dictate our future. The crowd rumbled with contemplation. Gradually, voices emerged in agreement, a mixture of cautious optimism and lingering skepticism. Lyron crossed his arms, weighing his thoughts. Very well. If we are to move forward, this festival must also reflect our cultures authentically. It will, Elijah promised. We will ensure that every piece showcased represents the heart of our collaboration. Seraphine looked at Elijah, her eyes shimming with gratitude. This can heal divisions. Let's start planning immediately. As the crowd began to disperse, Elijah felt a wave of relief wash over him. While pockets of uncertainty still lingered, progress had been made. Many of the Tulri were open to the idea, and that meant they had a chance. Are you okay? Seraphine asked softly, her colors oscillating through shades of concern. I think so. It's just challenging to face those doubts, you know? Elijah replied, trying to ease the tension in his chest. Together, we are stronger, she said, her voice full of conviction. Let's pour our hearts into this festival and make sure every detail reflects our commitment. He nodded. I'm in, but we'll need both our people on board. Let's create committees, engage artists from both sides. Everyone needs to feel included. Yes, we can call on musicians, poets, anyone who wants to participate, Seraphine replied, her excitement bubbling. This can transform into a true collaboration. With renewed focus, the two set to work, gathering ideas and reaching out to individuals from both species. Days passed in a blur as they coordinated with members of the Tulri and humans alike, listening to aspirations and stories that would shape their festival. As the date of the festival approached, Elijah and Seraphine found themselves back in the art chamber, brushing up on their mural, adding last details to emphasize collaboration. It feels different now, Seraphine mused, her colors swirling in anticipation. Like it's full of life. Because it is, Elijah said, stepping back to take it all in. This represents not just us but a promise to those who come after us. Yes. Let's add one more detail, a symbol that represents our shared future, she proposed. What do you think? Elijah asked, intrigued. How about a horizon? Seraphine suggested, colors alight with passion. The meeting point of two worlds. Brilliant. It'll be an eternal reminder of what's been forged here, Elijah replied, exhilarated. Together, they painted the horizon line where the two landscapes met, a gentle blend of colors expanding across the mural, an emblem of aspiration and unity. As they stepped back and admired their creation, a sense of fulfillment enveloped them. They understood they weren't just painting, they were shaping a future. Whatever happens at the festival, we've started something profound, Elijah said, glancing at Seraphine. She smiled, her colors radiating brighter than ever. And it will keep growing, like the trees in the mural. The festival day finally arrived, alive with anticipation. Elijah and Seraphine stood side by side, ready to embrace whatever came next. Together, they were prepared to navigate the complexities of connection and cultures, hand in hand, brushstroke after brushstroke.